think deeply, and look at your one day, every day. Okay. Maybe yesterday, day before yesterday, or maybe this week, the entire day. Do you have any bad habits that you want to break? And if you want, which one is that? If you break that one habit, you'll get a lot of free time, which is a good habit that you want to fill that free time that you got. Do you have anything in your mind? If you have anything, you put it in the chat box. Let me see. So, for example, I'll give you my previous situation. So, just before, I think 1 year ago, what I was doing and now what I'm doing. So 1 year ago, I was doing a job. Along with that, all of my free time, I was filling with bad habits, and I was not doing any good habits at all. So I'm giving you an example, okay? The example is I was scrolling a lot. YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. I was doing that a lot, a lot. So I wanted to break that bad habits. I know if I break that bad habit, then I'll get a lot of time over here. If you see over here, right? So we have a specific time period in a day, 12 hours maybe. Hmm? Let's assume the time that we have in a single day is 12 hours. We don't want that 12 hours to fill with bad habits. We want our 12 hours to fill with good habits. So right now, you are filling, most of us are filling with bad habits and some good habits. You think deeply and just type which is the bad habit that you want to break and which is the good habit that you want to build in that time that you get reserved if you break the bad habit. That is what I'm trying to ask. Do you have any? If you have any, just let me see. My winner said scrolling YouTube. Okay, YouTube Shorts, scrolling YouTube Shorts. How did you define? My question is, how did you define whether scrolling YouTube short is actually a bad habit? Why can't it be a good habit also? How can we figure that out? So only Maimuna texted the message. Don't any other people in this particular meeting, in this particular training, have any bad habit? Don't you have any bad habit at all? Do you think you're filled with good habits? The entire day of yours, is it filled with good habits completely? Are you not wasting your time? So, how can we define whether a behavior, an action is bad or good? So, I just added bad here, I just added good here. So, how can we define? I'm telling you the way you can define whether a behavior is good or bad. So, you think deeply. The time that I'm spending in this particular action, is it somehow helping me to fulfill my short term or long term goal? The action that I'm doing, the time that I'm spending right now, is it somehow helping me to achieve my short term and long term goal? If it is not, it's definitely a bad habit. If it is yes, it can fall into the good habit as well. So, scrolling YouTube, if you are scrolling for a reason, and if you're not scrolling because you anyway fall into that trap, then it's a good habit. I repeat, if you're scrolling for a reason, if you're scrolling to search for information, if you haven't fallen into that trap, then it's a good habit. For example, I want to learn something and I want to learn something very fast, some precise crystal capsule level thing. And I don't want to consume long form content in YouTube. It's gonna take a lot more time. What I'm doing is I'm searching in YouTube the topic that I wanted. And I got some topics and I got some content. That content is very informative and it's short, precise. It is a capsule of that content. And I'm consuming that content for learning things. So you actually typed the subject topic name in the YouTube search bar and you got the content and you're watching. And as soon as you watched, as soon as you finished consuming that content, you get out of that loop. And that is a good habit actually. You're learning things from YouTube, short form content. But if you have a habit of just clicking on or pressing on the YouTube icon and you're anyway automatically going into the YouTube shorts, and if you're scrolling, all the way to the bottom, and it's in fact it's not going to end. The If you start scrolling, it keeps going and it's not gonna end, and that's definitely a bad habit. So now what I'm going to tell you here is, in our last class we discussed all these things in terms of habit building. Skills is equal to do every day is equal to habit. If you want to be skillful at anything, we need to do that action every single day, and simply that is habit. And we discussed, in a day we can either good fill with bad habits or we can fill with good habits, right? And if you break the bad habits, then only we can fill the good habits in that reserved time. And to break bad habit, we explained that we need to reverse this framework. Any action, we need to make it invisible if you want to break. Okay, basically, let me revise this one. This is habit framework. If you want to build a good habit, okay, if you want to build a good habit, what we need to do, we need to make that action obvious. For example, we explained like, if you want to build the habit of reading, we need to take a book and we need to place that book in a position that is very obvious, that is visible, like placing a book on top of our pillow. And if you place a book on top of our pillow, we are going to our bed every single day to sleep. We will see that book on our pillow and we will read it. That is making it obvious. And how to make it attractive. Even if it is obvious, if it is not attractive, we are not gonna do that. And how to make it attractive? Sleeping is very attractive, right? Everybody likes to sleep on time. If we just stack the activity of boring reading book with the attractive sleeping, we are going to do that actually. So just before sleeping, if you decide to read one page every single day, you're most likely to do that activity, right? And even if it is attractive, if it is difficult, we are not going to do that. We need to make it really easy. How to make any difficult habit easy? So reading book and finishing a book is really hard, right? And we need to just do one page a day. We need to just read one page a day, not 30 page a day, not 30 minutes of reading either. What we need to do, we need to just read one page a day. And how can we actually make it really satisfying if it is not satisfying? I'll come to that. So, for example, if the reading book is not that satisfying, how can we make it actually satisfying? This is tricky. Okay. So basically, if you want to build a good habit, we need to do this one. If you want to break one bad habit, we need to reverse this one. We need to make it invisible. Scrolling or cigarette addiction or any other addiction or you name it. Can someone give me some bad habits? Sarika, watching reels continuously. Yes, of course. That is definitely a bad habit. And more people, can you all be little more interactive and try to give me some bad habits that you're struggling? And if you break it, it's gonna change your life because you'll be getting a lot of time free and you can fill that time with really good habit and it's gonna change your life. It's going to change your life. No, come on. Come on. In the chat box, think deeply. Look at your daily hours. Are you all okay? Putting fingers in my ear. Okay, that is a bad habit. Okay, Jamshir. Good, good. More. Please. Think. Uh, I think remaining all of the remaining people, do you all have really good habit? All of the things that you're doing in a daily basis, is that all really good? For example, if you're going for a job, day job, so you reach your office 9 o'clock and you leave your office in the evening 5 o'clock, let's say, and before 5 o'clock, sorry, before 9 o'clock in the morning, from the time you wake up, what are all activities you are doing? And think deeply. And that time you're spending, are you spending effectively? All of that time that you're spending, is that actually helping you to shape your career, to accomplish your short-term and long-term goal? And think about the evening time from 5 p.m. to the time you go to the bed. All those time frame, the window of time, are you spending effectively and are you spending to fulfill your short term and long term goal. That is all that I'm asking. I feel lazy to doing my work. Procrastination. Yeah, procrastination. So in that lazy time, what do you do? So you said that you feel lazy, and in that lazy time, that means you're not doing that work, right? And if you're not doing that work, that time, do you have that time? In that time, what do you do? That is the bad habit. Maybe overthinking, maybe just watching reels, or you just lay down your bed thinking something, or what do you do in that lazy time? And more bad habits. Yeah, let it come outside of your mind and brain. I want to avoid tea in my evening, but I can't. Okay, is that a bad habit? Everybody drink tea in our evening, right? Okay, if you think that is a bad habit, we can actually try to break. Okay. Okay, more. I think how many members are the 9 members? Sharika, Shihabuddin, Shihab. Don't you have any bad habit? Nasima, Maimuna, Jamshir, Galaxy, Fatima Shahadia. Okay, yeah. So I spend most of my time unproductive. When I sit to study something, I can't study for a long time. I couldn't complete my target. Okay. I spend most of my time I'm unproductive. So this is Sharika, this is something to do with productivity, not habit. Okay, you already have a habit of sitting there and studying, but you're not productive. So this is something to do with productivity. So productivity is next stage. The first stage is building good habit, right? And if you're not sitting at all in a daily basis, that is what we are going to fix right now. That is the base of it. Nasima, I want to cut my sugar craving. Okay. And even so, we already explained in detail in our last session about how we can break the bad habit of watching reels. Let me quickly go to that. So hide the icon of social media or change the location. This means simply we are making it invisible. If you make the icon invisible, we can actually break the habit. Make it unattractive. Consume a lot of content explaining disadvantages of social media will make it unattractive, make it difficult. So the if you click or touch the icon, it's very easy to get into the reels and shorts, right? And if you cancel the auto sign in, if you manually sign into the YouTube or Instagram by typing your email address or whatever, you're adding friction over there. Just introducing that friction itself will help you enormously to break that bad habit and make it unsatisfying. Turn off the volume. So, if you consume social media content, if you just turn off the volume of that content fully, and if you just looking at the visual part of it, and you will feel less satisfaction, even if you end up watching that content. So, this single framework will help you break the social media addiction.